Hello, SNA fans. This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video, episode 101. Episode 101 of the SNA podcast, and this is the another again a wrestling news video, part 29, which I'm gonna be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you guys need to know. You see me back with rocking in the red mask and red cape, which like I said before, and I'll say it again in the past video. I'm gonna be doing a pattern of two times in a row, like making an SNA podcast video. I'm gonna be wearing red twice, and then going back to blue twice in a row, and then purple. And then if I get like any other colors of the rainbow, whether it be in green, yellow, or even orange, like I'll gladly do 2 times in a row with them too. Like perhaps I'm thinking about doing in the straight perfect rainbow color, like 2 straight times in a row I'll do red, 2 straight times I'll do orange, 2 straight times do yellow, 2 straight times I'm doing green, 2 straight times I'm being blue, and then 2 straight times purple. And I was even get like white and gray and pink, hot pink and brown, and bring back my black cape and mask that I have in my bag, like whatever colors I have. But anyways, we're gonna be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you guys need to know on the wrestling article of 20 onto the Wrestling Inc. news article. We're going to start off with AEW Dynamite, which was Dynamite news, I should say, from last night's November 1st edition of the show. 3 things we hated and 3 things we loved about Dynamite last night. And it says right here, welcome to Wrestling Inc.'s review of Dynamite, the show that for better or for worse or for way better, apparently is not featuring Ric Flair on a weekly basis. But while Wednesday's episode was entirely free of Horsemen, it did feature 3 championship matches, a rare Paul White appearance, and MJF's search for friendship, which ended up heartwarming scissoring. And it says, other stuff happened on the episode too, but we're not going to talk about all of that here, mostly because we already covered that. Yeah, same here with Super Ninja Austin here on this podcast, on the SNA podcast. And it says, go around the sheet bag on our live coverage, like results on our results page. It says, what we are going to talk about here is how the WIN writing in editorial staff felt about these developments. Did we thrill at the least round of intra elite dramatics? Did we buy into Adam Copeland finally hitting Christian with a spear? And most importantly, what did we think about Tony Khan's big announcement? It's time for the three things we hated and the 3 things we loved about AEW Dynamite in October yesterday at November 1st, and it says the first thing we hated is Tony Khan's latest big announcement by John Jordan W, which is a WINC, which is I bet is Wrestling Inc. news writer, and it says at this point when Tony Khan announces that he has an announcement, the bar of expectations shouldn't be low. It should be dropped completely, or perhaps bashed over the head of the beholder. I knew I'd hate this because I knew it wouldn't be anything to be excited about. The only thing I would hope for to maybe make things better was Khan in the ring with a live mic, but nope, no dice there, no dice there. Instead, a big announcement that tickets for next year's all in go on sale a month from today. And it says, but it's okay, you don't actually have to wait long. You can get the best tickets early, but how early how early Tony can Tony, can I get them right now? Nigel McGuinness tells us that we can indeed uh, pre-register right now, and he says, "Great Shirley, either I'll be able to scratch cousin Francis of cousin Francis off the Christmas list and get him a ticket to All In. What may be tomorrow?" And he said, "No, pre-registration allows you to jump the line and get your tickets." On November 27th, so to recap the announcement, billed as important through Tony himself, call it huge on X, was that you can pre-register now for tickets that go on sale in a month, or probably 4 days earlier, for a show that's like 39 weeks away. Thrilling. Sorry for the slow read. Thrilling at this point. The announcements have jumped the shark and are only setting things up for failure and disappointment. I'm going to pre-register now, and it says just to ride this wave for the next 270 something days. And it's like, and number one, we love Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli, telling an easy, breezy story by Ross Berman from Wrestling Inc. news writer, and it says AEW has a problem with communicating stories, not only in a over overarching storylines, but also in the matches, which can end up so convoluted that it can be hard for the actual beats of the match to imprint on the audience. Orange Cassidy and Claudio Castagnoli did not have that problem on Wednesday. It says early in the match, Castagnoli injured Cassidy's arm. The injury nearly cost Orange Cassidy the match, but the AEW International Champion was able to sneak out the victory against Castagnoli. The story is one that Cassidy has told countless times before, but something about the natural chemistry between Cassidy and Castagnoli brought the note, the road text to life. Castagnoli, all brawn and ego, is a natural foil to the Willie. It says humble Orange Cassidy, even in these hot-headed days that have seen him knocking shoulders with John Moxley. Cassidy has a genuine laid back cool to him that is in a stark contrast to Castagnoli aggressive neoclassical attitude. Cassidy escaping the match with a roll up, which is obviously known as the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, of course. And then it says right here, roll up has me convinced that this will not be the last time the two Chikara alumni tangle in an AEW ring through Cassidy will have his hands full with Castagnoli's Blackpool Combat Club comrade of AEW. In AEW with Castagnoli's Blackpool Combat Club comrade John Moxley at AEW Full Gear. And I agree, this was a good match. This is something that we will. And the announcement of getting your tickets early of All In, that's good, but also it could be bad in a way because it's bad in a way because he's keep announcing things and these big announcements like what I would say, like what's his name said, like WrestleMania said, this is going to get more and more tiring, more than Roman Reigns is like every 2 weeks of Roman Reigns returning to SmackDown. I was like, you don't need to have to make some announcements like this and doing it backstage on the microphone, like a backstage promo announcement. Like you could have just said, you should just announce it into an advertisement onto a commercial saying like, get your tickets now for my upcoming AEW. Or if you had, sorry, I just got up. But anyway, you should have had Excalibur on commentary announce announced that you got the tickets on sale early to get the best seats in the house, or you can just get some tickets from a month from now, like whichever ones you want on December, which that'll be a perfect Christmas present for a family member or friend. So much of AEW programming has become a a, a convoluted, a convoluted, saved by the bell style Saturday morning cartoons that the AEW International title match was refreshing, refreshingly aggressive, grown up change of pace from what has otherwise a pretty pitful AEW Dynamite. Fewer stories about the power of friendship. Please, please, more stories about guys who want to beat each other up. And it says, and then number two of the hating, will will the elite ever not fight with one another by Olivia uh, Quinlan from the other Wrestling Inc.'s news writer. It says right here, drama in professional wrestling factions has been around since the beginning of time, and despite it being an admittedly overdone trope, I I for one am actually on board with it. Oh yeah, and the thing I'll say, the Orange Cassidy and Claudio Castagnoli was the match that you do not want it to miss on AEW Dynamite. And also, what do you think about the international championship is going to be on the line against John Moxley at AEW Full Gear? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, we're going to be talking about that soon enough in the future. But anyways, like I for one am actually on board with it. Ever, I, however, in the case of the elite, it's happening. It happened one too many times in AEW, and it as seems as though there is no intentions of changing that anytime soon. The Golden Jets, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, were joined by Renee Paquette and the Young Bucks in the Young Bucks in Omega's locker room. It said Matt Jackson brought up the fact that he felt as the though the elite were was splin was splintering from one another and questioned Jericho's presence. Omega reassured the Bucks that their partnership was simply the result of the mutual goal to take down the Don Callis family, and Matt was quick to warn Omega that Jericho will turn his back on him before storming off with his brother Nick. And it says, given that whole drama within the elite thing, everything feels so played out at this point. It would be nice to see the members of the group that be involved in storylines outside of each other. With Hangman Page's ongoing program with Swerve Strickland, my personal favorite, he says, my personal favorite thing going in AEW right now, it would have it would have made more sense to make the Bucks feud with the Mogul Embassy a true side story to Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page, with the Young Bucks losing the ROH six-man tag team championships on a bigger stage, I should say, such as Full Gear. Instead, on relatively a unmemorable episode of Dynamite. And I agree on that. Like, they had to drop the title so soon in a random episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, couldn't they just wait for another couple weeks at Full Gear for Brian Cage and Leona and Bishop Carr, aka the Mogul Embassy, to win back their championships at that big stage rather than winning it right back then? Even though I can agree that they were doing it for a cause, for just to continue the storyline feud with Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page. I mean, that's the only thing I can give them a reason why they did it, just to tell a story. But at the same time, they shouldn't put the Young Bucks to being the jealous guys of Omega teaming with Jericho temporarily for a reason, for to take down Don Callis for good. Because they even admit this when they started teaming up, like, we're not doing this to be a tag team, some kind of a long-term alliance and winning tag team gold. We're doing this just to bring Don Callis down. And that's what the Young Bucks should understand, especially Nick Jackson, into the store. Not Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, my bad. The older Young Buck brother. But anyway, like, he's not going to stab him into the back. Like, I doubt it. Because, like, he's been stabbed in the back by Don Callis, just like Omega. So he's understanding Omega's perspective, because it happened to him, obviously. And Matt should understand that. Like, because they got turned on Don Callis before too. Well, I think so, but because for the sake of Omega, of course. But what do you think about this? Like, do you love or hated the segment with the Young Bucks seeing some jealousy into Chris Jericho, and also thinking Jericho's going to turn on him while they don't always have his back? And that's true that they will always have his back, but they don't really have to rub it into the poor former longest reigning AEW champion. Okay, but the second thing we like was the two women's division stories. It says in this acrimony or this economic acronomy of mild skin, that Skinniderman by Miles Skinniderman from Wrestling Inc. Senior lead news editor. It says right here, according to his opinion on the matter, it says it's almost difficult to believe, but I assure you it happened on a single episode of AEW Dynamite. Two district, dis, district, district, district storylines unfolded, and they were both entirely con, comprised of performers from the women's division. Will wonder will wonders no I mean will wonders never cease. And it says, now did these two stories get different segments? No, no, of course not. Following her title defense against Willow Nightingale, Hikaru Shida left the ring to chase off Tony Storm to the back, leaving leaving Nightingale, I should say, in the ring to be confronted by Julia Hart. It didn't it didn't re it didn't represent any major up uptick uptick in time. A, allotted allotted for the division on the broadcast, and naturally it occurred around like 9:30 p.m. Eastern, aka Dynamite's de, designated des, designated female time, and it says this wasn't some kind of major transformation. However, I have to give AEW at least a little bit of credit here. They have two clear stories that are unrelated to one another, tied them together with a quality match, and highlighted 5 women in the process. And it said, yes, the blue mist spot went was it a word a worse does that or we or AW or we, which is unfortunate. And yes, I personally would have been more interested in the Sky Blue heel turn, because it would have gave her something re- resembling a personality. I can also see why the idea was to give Hart a powered up rival in the form of Blue. And it says, who can do Miss now, rather than just run Hart's own heel turn beat for beat with someone else. It's it's a choice that could definitely pay off in the long run. Through I mean, though I have my doubts about whether Blue can pull this off. And do you think she can pull this off with this badass misspitting face turn? I mean, with this misspitting face run, like in a feud with Julia Hart? Do you think that was the better decision from AEW, or do you think they should have turned her heel and have her attack Willow Nightingale? I think maybe this could have so much potential. I thought she was going to turn heel, which I would have had no problem of. We could see a new, different side and the breath of fresh air of Sky Blue, like taking on and taking on Willow Nightingale and program to program, like even being in a couple of matches, like a match or two before Full Gear, and even have a a really good marquee match on the card on Full Gear with Willow Nightingale, besides the Women's World Championship match, which we have two storyline feuds. Like we got Julia Hart and Sky Blue in a feud, and then we also have Hikaru Shida in a feud with Tony Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. And what do you think about AEW finally having more than one programming with their women's division and starting to improve it even more? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next news now. Not next, the next reason, which is, like, anyways, like the fact bar has been set the depressingly low. Low doesn't negate the fact that Dynamite managed to jump very slight over it this week. And it says you can do it, like Tony. Well, you can do it, Tony. What if next time you gave them a whole other match? Like, hopefully they do give them a whole nother match, like more than one women's match. It's possible next week, like considering they showed two different programming feuds with the with these five women in the same segment, but in different reasons. Like for with Hikaru Shida successfully defended her championship with against Willow Nightingale. Like she went off chase off Tony Storm, Hikaru Shida, while Willow Nightingale was still in the ring, like with Julia Hart right behind her, with Sky Blue going right towards her, like to help out her friend, but it looked like she was gonna turn heel and attack Willow. But really, she surprised us fans, going higher than the least expectations, like by spitting blue mist right onto what's her name? To Julia Hart. But anyway, like, hated Adam Copeland's just an old man with a broken neck for some reason by Berman. And it says right here, Adam Copeland made a triumphant return from retirement in 2020 and continued to wrestle at the high level for WWE for the next 3 years, which is why I am so confused by the fact that he's being portrayed as an old man with a broken neck who seemingly doesn't want to actually fight anyone in AEW despite coming to All Elite Wrestling, as it's fresh new sighting talking about all of the dream matches he could be having. The WWE Hall of Famer has to be goaded into his first match in weeks. And it says on Wednesday, and it's the kind of storytelling that makes anyone actually pay attention. Have people paying attention on. And it says right here, ask why the F did they sign the guy, not sign this guy. Like, Adam Copeland is not staying. Like, his debut in AEW has not the culmination of years of retirement, and better that his that his wrestling days were behind him. It was a combination of months of people sitting on their hands between his farewell, between his between his farewell match in WWE and inter interminable his in his in invi, inevitable AEW debut. What happened in the last couple of months that suddenly made Copeland too fragile, I should say, in his match against Luchasaurus. Much of the match was spent selling the idea that this previously active wrestler was suddenly some kind of doomed figure. Just one uh, Raju 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 bump Raju bump away from shuffling off his mortal colleague Mono Coil, I should say Mortal Coil, and scaring a generation of fans with his premature death at the hands of a literal that apparently doesn't want to wrestle anybody. If he doesn't want to wrestle Christian, fine, call out someone else. Literally anyone else. I don't care. It's better than this. Half baking, agging, slinging, Western gunslinging Western that Copeland is currently trying to write. Which I agree. Like he could have asked anybody out, and even if Christian Cage comes out, that'll be fine. Like he would interrupt him, and then he'll lead Adam Copeland no choice but to fight him because he was provoking him too much to the point that Edge does not care if he's his friend. Like he's pushing him to of hating him and making him team with Sting. But yeah, I don't get why they're AEW's booking Adam Copeland of being this guy that does not want to wrestle Christian Cage, but not want to call anybody for dream matches. Like and he's only been on backstage segments and promos, like which that shouldn't be the only thing he should be doing. Like he should be in more matches rather than too many segments. What do you think about this? This booking of Adam Copeland? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And finally, one more thing we love is MJF's journey to find partners, and it says by Matthew Wickinson from Wrestling Inc. news writer. It says sometimes AEW has a problem providing a hook that can work throughout the entire show, but that wasn't the case this time around. It was established at the very start that MJF needed 3 tag team partners, and he set out on his quest to get them ahead of the main event. It it was simple storytelling, but it allowed fans to be constantly excited for the final segment of the show, which is some that should happen every week. AEW kept cutting to MJF backstage as he ended up running into former foes and various people he had wronged. He had wronged. It's it started with trying to team with Kenny Omega, only for Jericho to tell him where to go. After which he after which he got into a confrontation with Wardlow. This was particularly smart piece of booking because whether people like the angle or not, the ideas that lots of people want to be world champion makes sense and should happen every week. MJF then almost picked Samoa Joe and Darby Allin, but didn't all the while the acclaimed and Daddy Ass were constantly trying to win him over, seeing MJF slowly get run down through the night to eventually choose the acclaim was a great bit, bringing bringing four popular baby faces together for the main event spot and giving Max Caster his big moment of finally winning over the champ. And the storyline allowed storyline MJF to be the central focus while also reminding fans that his history hasn't been forgotten. However, it simultaneously showcased the overall change in MJF's personality because at the end of the night, he opened himself up to the acclaim by scissoring them. It proves that he is a different person than he was when he angered all of the people he had tried to team with before, putting in some interesting character development while having a storyline running throughout the entire show. And what do you think about everything on this list of things that we hate and everything that we love from Wrestling Inc.? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And let's go back to some actual news now. Let's see. We got some injury updates and possible return timeline for AEW's Bryan Danielson now. It says Bryan Danielson is out of action with an injury, has become something of a chorus of a course with very with versus repeating throughout 2023, but it's looking hopeful that the oft injured wrestler might be able to close out the year with AEW. Like on the latest AEW Control Center, AEW broadcaster Tony Schiavone reported that Danielson has undergone surgery on his broken orbital bone, in an injury sustained in a recent match against Andrade El Idolo, and then and and aggravated in a tag team match against Kazuchika Okada and Orange Cassidy, teaming with his Black Bull Combat Club ally Claudio Castagnoli, which was last week. And the former WWE champion will likely be back in action by the end of the year, if not the beginning of the year. The injury comes just after Danielson returned from a broken arm sustained in a match with Okada in June. It says Danielson returned a bit early from the injury to fill in for the fired CM Punk, who was feuding with Ricky Starks at the time, which led to Danielson working a strap match and a Texas Death Match with the healing appendage. Danielson has made peace with his broken body, at admitting that getting older often means wrestlers are never at 100%, but the American Dragon is learning to work within the confines of his body's new limits. And what do you think about this news update about Danielson's injury? Do you think he's going to be back at the end of the year in December, or do you think he's going to be back in January, in the beginning of the year in 2024? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're going to move on to the next news now. As Dave Meltzer analyzes the tag team division, it says right here, according to this article, anyone who watched last night's AEW Dynamite was witness to something of an attitude change in Matt Jackson after losing the ROH Tag Six-Man World Tag Team Championships. And it says right here, Jackson grabbed a steel chair and began wobbling on the ring post. Minutes later, he appeared in a backstage to confront Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho regarding their new partnership. And it says, speaking on today's Wrestling Observer Radio, co-host Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez gave their assessment of what this means for the team's future. Both agreed that it seems very evident that Matt and Nick Jackson are turning heel soon. On top of that, Meltzer speculated on the company's plans for the Young Bucks at the upcoming Full Gear pay-per-view on November 25th, which I believe it's November 18th. But yeah, either way, it's gonna be in a couple of weeks. Uh, if they make a mistake or not, like either way, whether if they made this error or not, like the point is that they could be doing just that. Whether if they join Don Callis or not, I think they're gonna turn heel, and this is gonna be some kind of a tag team feud with Omega and Jericho taking on the Young Bucks, which is kind of a dream match for Omega to take on his two former teammates. It is what Dave Meltzer had to say. He's like, I got the impression from watching the show that it was going to be Jericho and Omega versus the Young Bucks at Full Gear. Meltzer said, that was the impression I got. I mean, they didn't announce it or anything, so everything is just weird. Both Meltzer and Alvarez express confusion on the booking of last night's trios titles match, considering we last saw Hangman Adam Page witnessing Swerve Strickland breaking into his home. After that, Page went into last week's title defense like nothing was wrong until Swerve Strickland showed up, causing Page to chase him into the back. Strickland's Mogul Embassy allies, Brian Cage and Toa Leona and Bishop Khan, Tola. That his name is Tola. Tola Leona and Bishop Khan were able to put away the Young Bucks in a short amount of time and regain their tag titles. And do you think that we're going to have this match with the Young Bucks and Jericho, with them teasing a heel turn onto their former leader, Kenny Omega, or elite teammate, I should say, because they don't consider him their leader. And I don't really consider that either. I'd say they're just the equal faction, and along with Hangman Adam Page as well. So I would say it could be turning heel. He's still feuding with the Don Callis family or not, or even the Young Bucks teaming with Don Callis' family or not. I think this could happen. Well, let me know what y'all think in the comment section right down below. Okay, we got some Sami Callihan news now on how former WWE star Ronda Rousey ended up on Wrestling Revolver. And it says, according to this news article, it wasn't even a month ago that Ronda Rousey hinted towards retirement from pro wrestling, something that seemed pretty apparent. Was pretty apparent following a loss to Shayna Baszler at WWE SummerSlam, which all but ended her WWE career. But things has changed over the last few weeks with Rousey, a Lucha Volume show on October 26th and accepting a booking on November 16th for Sami Callihan Wrestling Revolver promotion, which is running their event Unreal It in Los Angeles, California. It says, appearing on Busted Open Radio on Wednesday, Callahan was asked about Rousey's appearance, which will see her team with AEW star and longtime best friend Marina Shafir. According to Callahan, uh, Rousey's appearance on the show almost happened by by ha- by happenstance and was motivated by Rousey looking to do something for a good cause. He said, "I the one, fell into one," like said Callahan. I'm going to take I'm going to take credit for the for that it's some mastermind plan that I went when you know what this is going to be the thing where we're going to run LA on only to only 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 2.5 weeks notice 2.5 weeks notice. No, it's something I felt into because of my relationship with other people, and people put myself over to Rhonda. This is a guy you want to work with. This is a guy we want to do this with. And it says right here, like Rhonda wanted wanted to do this for charity. Saying like Rhonda wanted to do this for charity. She wants to do something for the Hawaiian Relief Fund. Her her husband is from Hawaii, and this is a charity she holds very near and dear to her heart. As soon as it was brought up to me, I was like, absolutely, that is something I want to be involved with, because that money will actually go to help people. And what do you think about her doing this? About her doing this independent wrestling show, like for the charity side of things, perspective in the charity side of perspective, and for the fun side of it in wrestling. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And will y'all be attending at this independent wrestling show that Sammy Callahan's running with Ronda Rousey wrestling at in Los Angeles, California? I'm going to let y'all to be the judge of that in the comment section right down below. And for me, though, before we wake me up, I need to get some sweet to eat. I bet I'll be right back. And I know just the thing. Sorry to keep y'all waiting. trying to have something to keep me awake because I just got up and woke up. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about more in the wrestling news right now. Okay. You got some Von Erich family news now, as the Von Erich family's Nazi of the Nazi curse explained. The tragedy that plagued wrestling's most iconic families would seem like something only Hollywood could imagine. Those not familiar with the Von Erichs, a wider audience outside of wrestling fandom will soon to expose to just that when A24's The Iron Claw starring Zac Efron is released on December 22nd. Make sure I better remember that to watch the movie. Like everybody here in the movie follows the lives of the Von Erich brothers as they navigate their way into the world of professional wrestling, only to experience misfortune and tragedy. The Iron Claw trailer shows the family dealing with these various tragedies, including multiple deaths that left only one murder alive to see the films released. It says there's something the movie may not explore explicitly explicitly. Like, however, due to its controversial nature, rumors and gossip throughout history have gave birth to what is now known as the Von Erich curse. And it says, which stems from a gimmick portrayed by patriarch Jack Atkinson, Atkinson, also known as Fritz von Erich, as he rose to fame during his time in the industry. The man who started the Von Erich dynasty chose to portray a Nazi wanting to stand out as a heel, according to the superstitious rumor that gimmick cost Fritz von Erich dearly. It says Jack Atkinson, a former football player turned wrestler, wanted to portray a guy who chose a Nazi character, excuse me, to attract more heat from crowds. How, like, he was first noticed by Stu Hart from his side in and stereotypical German features according to uh, of Oxygen, which published a piece of the family's curse. The man who will soon be known as Fritz von Erich actually had no history or connections to Germany. And then it says the the Nazi the Nazi the Nazi gimmick ran its course of it uh, as the Von Erich sons entered the wrestling world and became more family friendly household names. While the Nazi inspired side of the gimmick went away, it created many myths about what would eventually happen to the Von Erich son when an author, Dave Shoemaker, wrote about the curse in the book of the squared circle, life, death, and professional wrestling, writing the most widely decimated disseminated story was that a ghost of the Holocaust survivor putting a curse on the real life at Kishin uh, as revenge for making light of Nazism. Shoemaker wrote that the ghost said that they had lost all 7 sons in the death champs of World War II. In World War II, Germany, and the spirit sincerely hoped, noting like that would happen to Fritz. The spirit alleged words seem ominous now, as the man who portrayed the Nazis buried 5 of his sons before his own death. What do you think about this news, about this Von Erich curse, and then also the rise of the Von Erich family that he started all this just because he played a German Nazi's gimmick. Like, even though he wasn't German, let alone have any associations being in Germany, but he is just to have a better life, especially in the world of professional wrestling, which turned out to be a nothing but complete success for his family in the wrestling business. But unfortunately, most of his sons have passed away way too soon, and even sooner before his own tragic death. And I want to give my latest condolences to the. Sorry, it looks silly eating a Snicker bar while giving my condolences to the Von Erich family. I want to give my latest condolences to the Von Erich family at this sad time, and I hope there won't be no more deaths. Like, into the Von Erichs family, like on whoever's left into the on whoever's left in the family. But I heard they're very successful, like very popular family wrestling names, and all professional wrestling. That's the point of making this movie, like based on a true story, on the rise and fall of the Von Erich family, with the leading role goes to Zac Efron. And they also said MJF is going to play a phony member of the Von Erich family. And Ric Flair's going to have a part on this movie too. Which are you guys are excited to watch this movie when it comes out in December 22nd next month? I know I am, definitely. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section right down below. So we got some Declan McMahon news now, aka Shane McMahon's son. Describes growing up in WWE's first family. It says right here, according to this Wrestling Inc. article right here, for over 100 years now, the McMahon family has been involved in promotions of sports or sports entertainment. Vince McMahon's father and grandfather both played major roles in the professional wrestling industry, and Vince followed in their footsteps. His children, Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, become a fixture of WWE TV into the late 90s, I should say. And the next generation of the McMahon family is now preparing to make their mark. Shane's son, Declan McMahon, appeared on Developmentally Speaking, describing what it was like to grow up in a prominent wrestling family. And this is what Declan McMahon had to say on the interview. It was awesome. McMahon said, I always tell people all the time, as you grow, you get to grow with the business. When you're a fan per CS, I was like I was when let's say when I was younger. You really see it through a fan's perspective, but as you grow older, and as you're kind of invested in it, you get to see the business side of it, right? You do the other side of it, right? Like, and so Declan described conversations with his father that taught him what goes into planning a wrestling match. As he grew older, Declan also learned what things are like backstage in WWE. He said, when you're a kid, you see these people on TV and you think that they're superheroes, right? McMahon continued, but when they come home, they are just down to earth, normal people that just get bagged up, and they do it for the love of the sport, for the love of the entertainment. Growing up in the McMahon family allowed Declan to meet people like John Cena and LeBron James, and the college athlete believes that helped him gain uh, maturity and pol- there's a and polite that politeness, despite the difference in lifestyle. Declan stated that he didn't truly realize the impact of his family until uh, accompanying his father Shane to the ring at WrestleMania 32, where his Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker. And do you think that Declan McMahon's going to be next in line as the next wrestling star, like his father, like which he wasn't really a father, he was more like the $1 million prince for Vince McMahon, like with him doing sometimes being in matches, but mostly in management, like which that was the case from the past 20 and a half years for the former hardcore and European champion. You follow his father's footstep, or even better, like and even do better, like following the foot on this journey of following his father's footsteps in the business of all professional wrestling, and like they may yeah they may you may see the McMahon family at least most of the McMahon family, except for Vincent Kennedy McMahon, of course. They may act like when they're good guys, they act like superheroes, like the wrestlers that's on the show, or if they're bad guys, they act like very evil business family villains, villainous families like on the show. But he explained that they're down to earth, like and normal, and they when you go about their business, take care of business, and putting on a show for fans that they'll never forget and always want to watch more of, like us loyal fans of watching World Wrestling Entertainment for plenty of years. Yeah, but my whole point is like, you think that Declan's gonna be the next McMahon star, and his grandfather's former company? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Yeah, let me know. We'll move on to the next news now. Sorry about that. That was kind of rude of me. But now I'm a little bit wide awake now, so I can talk about more journalistic stuff. And then on to this wrestling news. And it says right here, Matt Cardona faces loser leaves MLW stipulation at Fightland. And it says right here, according to this news, Matt Cardona will face Mance Warner in a loser leaves Major League Wrestling match at the Fightland event on November 18th, the same day as AEW Full Gear. The company announced on Wednesday, Cardona was previously banned from entering the 2300 arena, aka ECW's arena, the destination of MLW Fightland after suffering a loss. ECW legend Bully Ray Battleground Championship Wrestling Legend Never Die event of July 1st. However, Cardona found a loophole in the stipulation, like nothing that his ban only applied to Battleground Championship Wrestling's event, and does not it does not preclude him from attending events promoted by MLW. Cardona, and then it's been said that Cardona previously defended Warner in a Kiss My Foot match at MLW Fury Road on September 3rd, which ended with a series of gruesome events. After Cardona's manager, Mr. Saint Laurent helped him score the victory, they evented Warner to kiss the victor's feet as part of the stipulation. Instead, Warner bit the foot of Laurent and took out Cardona with a chair shot to ahead. The sequence of events led to and Warner agreeing to the high stakes match at Fightland, according to a press release issued by MLW. Laurent will be in Cardona's corner for the upcoming rubber match, and it says right here that other confirmed include the MLW World Heavyweight Championship match. Alexis Kane and is defending the championship, the title against Jacob Fatu, and a tag team match. Pitting NJPW's Rocky Romero and CMLL's Cavanero, I should say, Barbaro Cavanero against NJPW's Mascaro Dorado, and MLW's Ichiban. The latter match is the first of many promotional bouts expected to take place, are part of the landmark. And what do you think about this latest news about Matt Cardona and being in the Indies? And in this rubber match, y'all let me know down in the comments below. It's not really much for me to say because we watch independent wrestling shows. Like, only hear highlights of this, like on articles and wrestling YouTube videos. But anyways, we're going to move on to the next news now, which is a video seeing AEW's collaboration with rapper Doja Cat. And it says right here Over the past few years, AEW uh, relied on celebrities such as Mike Tyson, Snoop Dogg, Lou Ferrino, Lou Ferrino Martin, Cove, and Tony Hawk to promote its product with hopes of reaching a wider audience. That this week AEW did so again by sharing a video on social media in which rapper Doja Cat's popular song "Paint the Town Red" is accompanied by appearances from AEW's top women's wrestlers. And it says right here, as seen below, Doja Cat her herself appears in the video alongside the likes of AEW's Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose and Saraya, Britt Baker, TBS champion Chris Statlander, Tony Storm, Willow Nightingale, and Ruby Soho. And yeah, you can see pictures of the likes of Saraya on Twitter, on AEW's on TBS TV account on Twitter. And make sure you check that out. And I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to look at the video. I mean, not the video, the picture. And if you need more time, I recommend you guys to pause this video right here. If you want to see more and read more onto the post, it's basically showing them like into this hype music video onto social media because it with Doja Cat promoting more of the AEW's women's division with the background song of her recent song that's been out on the radio, which is called "Paint the Town Red." Yeah, make sure y'all check that out onto your radio when y'all get into the car or y'all have a radio and stereo at the home or wherever you listen to your music at. But anyways, what do you think about Doja Cat being the latest celebrity that made a guest appearance on AEW? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, it's not really it's not really the first time that they brought in celebrity. They sometimes do this when they need like some star power to bring in more larger audience, like on this article said. And then it looks like they may have only got probably a few more fans watching on AEW, possibly just Doja Cat fans, of course. Yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below about this latest of Doja Cat being the latest celebrity guest in All Elite Wrestling. Okay, we got some more news, but this time it's Eric Bischoff explains why the new car smell has worn off AEW. And it looks like Eric Bischoff was executive director of the of WWE SmackDown brand when AEW Dynamite debuted in October 2019. Bischoff sat in the WWE writers' room in Stamford with hopes that Tony Khan's promotion would eventually test WWE for pro wrestling supremacy, I should say, or pro wrestling supremacy. My bad. Like fast forward 4 years later, and Bischoff believes AEW has missed the boat in its quest to challenge WWE, pointing to AEW's dwindling, I should say, dwindling ticket sales, I should say, at recent television tapings. The new car smell has worn off, and it says Bischoff said of AEW on the Strictly Business podcast, recalling his excitement for AEW's early days. And this is what the former Raw GM and executive writer of SmackDown said. I was I was excited because I knew competition makes everything better. So I was every optimistic, like a lot of fans were when AEW announced Arthur Ashe. I went I went online and jumped in with both feet, supporting it because again, I it felt like there was momentum online and jumped it with both feet, supporting it because again, it felt like there was momentum. And it says that would put pressure on WWE, which I knew it would be a great thing. But over the last couple of years, the fans' willingness willingness to forgive some of the things that con, consi, consi, con, con, considuously constitu- constitu- con, consi- considious, consciously, I should say consciously, yeah, consciously or subconsciously, they know we're floss. Bischoff believed we're floss. I mean, they knew where. They know we're floss. I should say, subconsciously we're floss. But anyways, Bischoff believes AEW's strategy to switch to a monthly pay-per-view format will further repel fans who sought a WWE alternative, stressing that quarterly pay-per-view format made each AEW show feel more important. You're you're hearing and seeing a lot of critique of the AEW product, and you're also seeing significant loss of of live like Gabe consistent now in most markets, I should say. And when you think about this from Eric Bischoff, the man that usually would criticize most things what Tony Khan would do in AEW. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And let me know. Yeah. And let me know that. And let me know what you think about this video. My apologies for the embarrassing acts and the stuff. Perhaps I should have waited for a few more minutes, but since I'm already doing this, I better continue. And we got some Nick Aldis news. He believes this D Generation X star deserves more credit for being cool. And it said right here, D Generation X played a key part in the Attitude Era, with the group's rebellion attitude often leading to them creating a cool factor amongst this around the world, whether it was their state of the Union addressed invading WCW, or their crotch chop fans were drawn to them. And he said Triple H and Shawn Michaels were often given the major focus amongst audiences, but it was a different member of the group that the WWE SmackDown GM Nick Aldis had more interest in. Like who in my school like said this said Nick Aldis, you know who is my school who was considered the coolest wrestler, which was wrestler like which is X Pac. All Nick Aldis told after the bell to Corey Graves. He said everybody uh, everybody thought X Pac was so cool, and if you think when you think about it, he he was he was because of the way he talks and in his in his dim in his demeanor and everything. I never think that Sean Waltman really gets his flowers as far as how much of an impact he had on on wrestling being cool. And X Pac may not have been the leader of the group, but his decision to move from WCW back to WWE was certainly a big moment that provided him a spotlight at the time. And however, who someone who went the other way during the Monday Night Wars also had the cool factor in the eyes of Aldis, as he admitted that Bret Hart was his first hero. He said, I thought of Bret Hart like he's cool and girls liked him, and so slick he's so slick, and he's the best, and I want to be like that. He was cool, the artist said. I remember sort of seeing a Hogan and under understanding that he was a huge star, and I thought that I don't mean this as the slight as a slight, but he did seem cool to me. Brett was cool. What do you think about think about the SmackDown GM Nick Aldis thinking the likes of Bret Hart, Hogan, and X Pac being the coolest wrestlers at the time, and I would say X Pac. I agree being uh, about being very cool. I'll say he's kind of underrated. He never really had the opportunity to show that what what he could also offer into the industry, but he did. Yeah, I think he very first came to WWE in 1993 as the 1-2-3 Kid, even beating Razor Ramon Scott Hall into a match in a quick match like that. Probably was less than 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. And then until the later 90s, he was known as X Pac, teaming with Triple H, Road Dogg, and even Billy Gunn as the D Generation X. Like when like soon after Shawn Michaels sort of had to hang up his boots at that temporary time because of his back injuries. Like and Sorry. But anyways, he went to WCW. He joined the NWO, like with Scott Hall and Ray and Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan. Brought that to the WWE. He stayed there for a while until he left and went to TNA. And then a decade later, he went right back. He just makes rare appearances. And it's rumored that he might make his return at the Royal Rumble. Let's hope that'll be the case for those X-Pac fans. And do you think that X-Pac will make his WWE return at uh, the Royal Rumble? If he does, are y'all guys gonna be watching him? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next news now. Is you got some Matt Hardy's assesses uh, the AEW's House of Black stable of their success, and it said ever since they came together in 2022, the House of Black has been one of the most dominant factions in AEW. The AEW fan base seems to be impressed with the trio as has Matt Hardy, who was initially apprehensive about how they'd worked. And it says right here, while he was aware that Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black would work together, well, his lack of knowledge of Brody King did leave question marks for Hardy. He said they really meshed as a threesome a lot better than I thought they would in the beginning, and then I really liked them together, he said on the Extreme Life of Mal Hardy podcast. Brody King, I didn't know him at all, but I really enjoyed his work. I I think he looks very legit. I think they're great as a unit, and they all really complement each other. And it says right here, Hardy admitted that he loves them as a unit and believes they make a great team to be the AEW World Trios Tag Team Champions. They held the titles for 175 days, the longest in the title's history, but lost them to the Acclaim at AEW All In show. While the three men have been given a lot of opportunities, it has been Julia Hart who has shown most recent, which Hardy touched upon. She built up a lengthy undefeated streak, with eventually led to her challenging for the AEW Women's World Championship. They completely elevated which she was referring Julia Hart as a character, and then that in turn helped elevate her up the card and helped raise her stakes to when were stakes too when it came to be a performer. He said, "I think Brody King has a great presence a presence about him too. He he has a very very solid presence. And what do you think about Matt Hardy's opinion on the House of Black faction from the past year? Started with Malachi Black joining AEW because he got released from WWE. He only got a 30-day non-compete clause because from the past 2 years he was on the main roster. For some reason, WWE haven't renewed his contract status in the main roster. So, like 35 days later, he made an appearance with AEW, being in the program with Cody Rhodes, and then eventually started slowly but surely starting the faction from in 2022 with Brody King and Buddy Matthews, and even winning the Trios Championship at the beginning of this year, holding those titles until August at the Wembley Stadium show, facing the Acclaim in the process. But they beat them for the Trios titles. But yeah, they still putting on some great angles and matches. Like, even though I'm not a big House of Black fan, but I think they're very successful and dominant as this heel at this supernatural evil heel faction that they are. And what do you think what's next for this gothic supernatural trio? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next news now is they watch John Cena analyze some of his classic WWE matches, and he says as John Cena a enters the home stretch of his illustre his illustre is was it illustrious, yeah. That's a stretch of his illustrious career. It's the perfect time as any to reflect on his great matches in a new YouTube video released by WWE. The man himself walked down memory lane to pick out his favorite matches from a career spanning over 21 years. And it says right here, first Cena picked his Extreme Rules match against Brock Lesnar in 2012. And then in the Premium Live event, the match significantly for a number of reasons. Cena was off a fresh off of a fresh off a loss to The Rock at WrestleMania 28 and needed a win or needed a victory, I should say, to get his career back on track. Lesnar, meanwhile, had just returned to WWE, and the match against Cena was his first outing in a WWE ring since WrestleMania 20. And it says right here, in short, need both men needed to win, but it was Cena who prevailed at the end of a vicious encounter after hitting an attitude adjustment to a bloody Lesnar on the top of the steel steps. That's what John Cena had to say about the match. He said, "I love Brock as a performer." Cena said, reflecting on the match, I think he's extremely underrated, even though he's in conversations for the greatest of all time, and I love him as a human being. He is hope. He is a wholeheartedly, I should say, wholeheartedly himself, and It shoots up straight, and I really admire that about him. And then he said, and then it also has the last man standing match against Batista from the 2010 Extreme Rules Premium Live event, reflecting on it. John Cena appreciates the brutal in the match in the extent to which the two performers pushed themselves, especially the concluding spot that saw Cena duct, duct tape duct taping Batista's legs around the rope around the ring post to keep the animal down for the 10 count. I think unique idea like that. I love that creative thinking, but man, that could that could have been smoother than my end, said John Cena. And then he also said his other favorite match, why he loved it. It was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, working with Bray Wyatt, and he said, but first I'm gonna talk about this. Like next was John Cena picked his Iron Man match against Randy Orton from the 2009 Bragging Rights Premium Live event in in and again John Cena appreciates some of the creative spots, specifically the one that saw Orton causing proto the or the pyrotechnic techniques to go off to secure a 4-3 lead in the match. Eventually, Cena won at 6-5 when he locked in the STF. Uh, the STF with a 5 second left in the bout, and it says right here, Cena then picked his last man standing match against Bray Wyatt from the 2014 Payback Premium Live event. The the match was the third in the trilogy uh, of bouts between the bitter rivalries after Cena won at WrestleMania 30, and Wyatt got one back inside a steel cage at Extreme Rules. Payback, Cena would uh, pre prevail by placing a large production box on top of Wyatt, forcing the Eater of Worlds to stay down for the 10 count. And John Cena said, "I really enjoyed performing with Wyatt." Cena said, "We were cut from the same from the same cloth in the regard, both storytellers, both wanting to do bizarre things. We also try to do different things and embrace each other's creative creative uh, creativity, I should say. They want to embrace each other's creativity. That's what they said." And then one more. The other match in John Cena's list, including the United States Championship match against Kevin Owens at Battleground 2015, the match against Shawn Michaels, on an episode of Raw in April 2007, and finally the classic bout against AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble 2017 for the WWE Championship. Cena explained why the later match against the Phenomenal One was particularly special to him, and, and this is what John Cena had to say, saying there are so many matches that I don't have any recollection of but I have found memories of that Cena said of his match with Styles when a plan comes together and everyone has a great time. It works. There isn't a better feeling. And what do you think about John Cena talking about his favorite matches of all time in his 21 career in WWE? I would say I would agree with most of these matches, like with the likes of Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and even Brock Lesnar, which they were absolute banger matches that you will never forget. Like, and they're most legendary and unforgettable. I mean, unforgettable, not unforgivable. Right? It's not like there's nothing to forgive about this. Only just to remember and have a good memory on to talk about for a lifetime. But yeah, John Cena had one legendary career, and I remember watching him ever since I was very little with my brother, like watching John Cena like wrestle the likes of Carlito, Randy Orton, Triple H, Edge, and Umaga in the Ruthless Aggression era. But and speaking of John Cena, he recently was booked. He's scheduling in for a match. He recently got scheduling for a match for this Saturday's Crown Jewel to take on Solo Sikoa. And do you think he's going to get this win and win the singles win and in this 2,000 plus days of not winning the singles match? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're going to move on to the next news now as Jake the Snake Roberts reacts to AEW star Sting's retirement announcement, with saying WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts has commented on Sting's retirement and revealed why he was concerned for him. Sting recently announced that he will be calling time on his career at AEW Revolution in 2024, and Roberts has discussed why it may have been a tough decision for the pro wrestling legend. And he said, and this is what the master of the snakes had to say. Saying it's hard, it's a hard moment, especially for him because he's doing so well and he's healthy as hell. Jake Roberts said on the Snake Pit podcast recently, you just don't want to stop till I tell you the truth, I was getting scared of him when he started going through tables and off ladders. It don't take much to break these old bones. Roberts saluted his fellow veteran for getting out before his body forced him out, and he says you will be missed. You'll be missed, Roberts. You'll be missed, Roberts said. The WWE, you'll be missed, Sting, Roberts said. And he said WWE Hall of Famer explained why Sting has managed to keep his appeal with fans, saying the man is a mis- is a mystery. Is a mystery. People love mysteries. They want to they want to figure you out. Roberts chuckled. The paint will hide more than you know. And it says the date the date and location of Sting's final match have yet to be revealed, but the former TNA champion will have a running buddy ahead of his retirement as Nature Boy Ric Flair arrived in AEW last week, promising to ride with Sting all the way to Sting's retirement. A later report confirmed that Flair's appearance in AEW not will not be off will be a one-off. Sting said he initially considered retirement earlier, but having the Nature Boy in his corner has rejuvenated him, who is excited to go ball to the wall until Revolution 2024. And then, who do you think is going to be his last opponent in this last match at Revolution 2024? Do you think he's going to be Ric Flair? Is it going to be somebody else? It's going to be a tag team match with Darby Allin against a tag team, or do you think that, or do you think, or do you think that it's going to be a 6-man tag match with Darby Allin and Ric Flair against the trio? And if you do, who do you think is going to be? Sound off in the comments. And do you think that he should lose? Because some say he should lose when he in his retirement match, because I think he's practically been undefeated like ever since he's been on AEW, like wrestling since Revolution in 2020, Revolution 2021, and then it'll be a good 3-year run as a in-ring active competitor with AEW. But it looks like he's going to be retiring because he is about to be 65 in 2024. So I think this couldn't have been any better way to retire, even though he still moves around like if he's still in his 30s and 40s, but sorry, my bad. But yeah, he's in his 30s and 40s, but he's exactly 64 years old and still wrestling like if he's like Darby, a little bit older than Darby Allin's age group. But yeah, what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about his retirement? Y'all let me know down below. We're gonna move on to the next one, which we're gonna end with some Eddie Kingston news. Now, is AEW's Eddie Kingston gets candid about former National Wrestling Alliance colleague WWE star LA Knight. Yeah. And it says right here, before they were the unsung heroes of their respective promotions, Eddie Kingston and LA Knight were standout performers on NWA Power, with 3 R's, by the way, in Power. But anyways, the freshly rebooted National Wrestling Alliance YouTube show, like with the Ring of Honor World and slash New Japan Strong Openweight Champion says that he got along well with the number one contender of the undisputed WWE Universal Championship during during their time in the NWA. This is what the Mad King had to say onto the matter, saying, "I like LA Knight. He's a good dude." Kingston chuckled in an interview with Adrian Hernandez. He said, I'm so happy for LA Knight. That that dude not bust his ass." The AEW star said that he salutes Knight for getting to perform on such a big stage. And he says right here, but he wasn't the only National Wrestling Alliance alumni currently making moves in the big leagues. Referring to Ricky Starks is a little bit of a bitch. He knows that, but I'm like he knows that he's a little bit. But I know that like I'm proud of him too. Like proud of him too. Kingston admit. He said, I don't know, like the way he's acting, but he's he's cool. He's the sense that I could call him bitch, but that time that time in the NWA gotta give him mad love because it was just so much fun. Starks the inaugural the inaugural National Wrestling Alliance World Television Champion during his brief tenure in the company. Kingston said Kingston said Kingston said that he has no idea what things are like in the NWA currently, but he hopes the roster is having as much fun as he and Starks and Knight did during their time into the promotion. It it was a lot of fun. Kingston said the AEW star revealed that he still calls up his friends and the NWA roster member Homicide, but the two usually end up talking about life and everything but wrestling. And what do you think about this confession on this interview with Adrian Hernandez about his opinion on LA Knight right now? And do you think he's very cool too, just like Eddie Kingston said? Most of y'all probably would agree with the Mad King for saying that. Even though he don't agree with his character much of the yeah thing and saying his catchphrase LA Knight, yeah, and let me talk to you. But he's doing it very in a cool manner to the point that it's getting him over and giving him an opportunity for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And what do you think about him, Ricky Starks, and LA Knight being on the National Wrestling Alliance a few years ago? Well, soon after, Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston got offers to AEW, like with Ricky Starks being one of the guys next to Eddie Kingston getting an open challenge for Cody Rhodes' TNT Championship when Cody Rhodes was in WWE at the time, not WWE, AEW at the time, and also Eddie Kingston getting a title match against Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship, and they both been on AEW ever since 2020, while LA Knight been on WWE since 2021, and he's still on the show, killing it out there with like and Eddie Kingston and Ricky Starks are champions respectively, except not Eddie Kingston's not exactly AEW's championships, rather than the Ring of Honor World Championship, which is the championship that the World Championship that's from the other company that Tony Khan owns that he bought out, and also Eddie Kingston's the champion from the wrestling promotion that he's partnering with, which is NJPW, and he's right now he's the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, while like with them respectively being with Ricky Starks being one half of the AEW Tag Team Championship alongside his bodyguard / tag partner Big Bill, respectively. And LA Knight's trying to see if he can win some gold, just like his former National Wrestling Alliance colleagues. And do you think that he's going to be the undisputed WWE Universal Championship this Saturday? Or do you think something totally different from the Mega Star? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And okay, I guess I'm going to end this video right here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you think and what was your favorite part about the news stories. Let me know all about that in the comment section right down below. Subscribe, click the bell beside it, and so you can be notified when I upload my new upcoming videos. And make sure you share with your friends all over social media, and follow me on social media at Super Ninja Austin. At Super Ninja Aust, I should say, 1, which is Super Ninja, and then AUST1, and on Instagram at super_ninja_Austin_2024, and also make sure to do some private chats with me on Telegram at Super Ninja Austin 1, and at WhatsApp too as well at Super Ninja Austin as well. And then in my personal Facebook. Make sure you friend me on there, which I'll give you the information once you doing a private messenger or Telegram or WhatsApp kind of a message, like of asking me for my Facebook information, because that remains to be private for now, right now, until I choose to reveal myself who I am, and because it shows mainly my real name, like, on there. So I'm not sure if I should give that out right now, which for safety reasons, and also until I start getting everything straightened out, like with my identity right now. It's not like I'm in trouble, but I just don't want to give out my true identity until I'm ready to do so, which that's going to be later on in my life. But anyways, I've been your host, but for now, I'm your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was the 101st episode of the SNA podcast, and hopefully you guys will continue to be watching my videos. And tomorrow I'm going to be doing my second wrestling news video, which will be episode 100, my 102nd episode of the SNA podcast, which will be the wrestling news part 30. Make sure you check that out. And also check out Friday Night SmackDown, my Friday Night SmackDown review part 12, and AEW Rampage review part 12, which that will be later on in tomorrow evening's edition of the SNA podcast. Hope we all have a great Thursday all day long, and I'll see you guys there. But in the meantime, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, is out. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching.